You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. And I have a theory, folks. We're in a bull market. And with the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates, the multiples are, they were contracting in 2022 when they were raising rates. Now that they're lowering rates, they're expanding. And we're kind of seeing this. And the Nasdaq has been the lagging index. But I'm thinking that with earnings, don't tell anyone, this is my philosophy. With earnings, like we saw last week with Netflix and Intuitive Surgical, this is going to become the leader once we hear from Apple and Meta and Google and Amazon and Microsoft and NVIDIA, and we're going to hear from Tesla this week. I believe that this is just being tamped down, just a little cautious ahead of the earnings, and then it's gonna be a leader. The Dow Jones is the leader now. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, the Nasdaq was up 50 points today, or 0.27%. The volume was 13% higher than the 50-day average. And I just wanted to point out, one thing for the Nasdaq. The last half hour, the close is what is telling, I believe, in the market, and the institutions show their hand here in this last, I don't know, hour, 45 minutes here. There it is, last 50 minutes. You can see there at 3:10 p.m. The low is a 475. Here at, we'll just call it the last hour right here. 473, and it closed at 540. So nice little run into the close. You get the high volume at the close. That always, that bodes well. It's a Monday. We got a lot of earnings coming in. And I think this Nasdaq is poised to trade higher. And I'm always a bull. I'm always thinking positive, so I'm a little biased, but it has been lagging, and the index it has been leading is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which fell 340 points today, 0.8%. Still closed at 42,931. You can see it's just pulling back here to its 10 EMA. It's just a tick above it there. And then the SPY, similar to the Dow, where it's pulling back to its 10. It closed just a tick above the 10. It was just flat on the session today, but those have been leading. I think the Nasdaq's ready to take leadership here. This is the Russell 2000. This pullback, the yields are going up, even though the Fed's lowering rates, yields are going up, and that's going to impact these small caps. So this one pulled back to its 10 and just closed a tick below it. So there you have it for the four major indexes. I trade stocks. I don't, I typically don't buy the index or trade the index. But I did mention some of these, mega cap tech stocks starting to act a lot better. This is Apple. You can see this base here, low volume. Not going to report earnings till Halloween, but this thing's shaping up pretty nicely. With a stock like this, you really got to look at the week and see that period of consolidation is 16 weeks. Not bad. I heard some knuckleheads talking about, Microsoft like it's some terrible stock. We'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, it's down where all the moving averages are converging pretty much here. And the 10, the 21, the 50, and the 200 are all within what, 4/10 of each other on light volume. Something tells me this is going to resolve positively for Microsoft. I'm just bullish. If you look at the Netflix earnings and Intuitive Surgical and Taiwan Semiconductor, I think these things are poised to have good earnings reports, and it's kind of priced in where, the reports aren't going to be that strong. And I think they're going to surprise to the upside. We'll see. Meta, they're going to report here on the 30th, just like Microsoft pulled back to the 21. That one looks fine. Amazon just consolidating in the base. They're going to report on Halloween with Apple. So they're all going to report here pretty soon. And we'll know, and Tesla, speaking of reporting, they're going to report on Wednesday. This one, gap down on this sell, buy the rumor, sell the news on their FSD day, their driverless cars, whatever. We already have driverless cars. I don't know what the big deal is. Anyway, Tesla's going to report earnings on the 23rd, which is Wednesday after the bell. So, and the last one I have to get to is NVIDIA, the big kahuna. This one broke out. Well, I've kind of liked this one since it got above that 120 level, but it had this, pronounced 4-month, consolidation with the standard paint by numbers, buy point there at 140. Blasted through it today and through in after hours, it's even up. And I mentioned Taiwan Semiconductor because they had a strong earnings report. This thing gapped higher. Now just pull back to 200 or whatever. But still, I mean, it had a huge move last Thursday. $18 move, nearly 10%. So it's going to give back a little, allow the moving averages to catch up. This one's over $1 trillion stock now. The other one, market cap, $1 trillion market cap. And then ASML Holdings, they were the opposite, the anti-NVDA, the anti-Taiwan Semiconductor. And this one just sold off. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe, the only thing I can think of is AI. This doesn't need as much of their equipment. I mean, but they've reported 3 stinker quarters in a row. There's no way I could own that stock. Applied Materials got hammered with the weakness in ASML as well. So anyway, I don't want to go through all these semiconductor hardware names, just a few that I like here. One is ARM for obvious reasons. I mean, this is a cup with handle. Now it pulls back to its 10. This little wedge here, we've seen these get rewarded a lot. It made one here, this little wedge to the 21, then ripped higher, and now it's doing it again. I would think that that's going to trade higher at some point pretty soon. That would not surprise me. In fact, I'd be surprised if it didn't. Broadcom, another one that I like. I looked through a bunch of stocks over the weekend. I said, oh, I like the software. Software looks better than the hardware, and I didn't put any software names on my radar list, so I'm gonna have to change that. But once again, pullback, rips higher. So the pullbacks are being bought. There's another little bull wedge back to the 21, trades up to that old buy point there, or the standard buy point, and then pulls back to the 21 again, and then pops, and now it's pulled back to the 10. So this thing's got a very distinct, clear pattern here. And finding support. So when they come back to support and they bounce, I mean, that's what happens in a bull market. So as long as they keep doing that, we're good. If they start cratering below their support levels, then we got another story here. Then we're gonna have to watch it a little closely. But anyway, any other names that I like here? Oh, MRVL. I had this one on my ready list last week. I took it off. It's because it's too extended from its moving averages here, but I think I like the stock. It was up nicely today, but still, even with the pullback on Thursday and Friday, this thing is 4.7% above the 10. So let the moving averages catch up. I'm not going to chase stuff in this market because you don't have to. IONQ, this is in the computer hardware. This is the SMCI. I think it's taken over for SMCI. It looks like it really wants to run here. And well, it has been running, right? The last 3 weeks up, 11% today. So yeah, just some hardware names. I've got to point out PI, another one that's been super strong. And what did it do? It pulled back, made this run, made the nice run on the breakout. Gosh darn it, Marty. Okay, it made this nice run off the lows, 153, above 200, pull back to the 10. Found support at that level, ripped up like 7 days in a row, and then it pulled back to the 21. And today it popped 4%. So we'll see if that thing can continue higher and make a new high. What is the high? What would be the price that we're looking at here? About 239.88. We'll call it 240. Above 240, yes. Definitely watching PI. And the other one, oh, STX, they report this week. So yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm just gonna let them report because I don't own it. I'm not going to own it ahead of earnings. We'll just have to wait and see what they say. MU popped on earnings, but this thing was, it was priced for Armageddon, so it had a pretty good earnings report and it was rewarded, pulled back to the, moving average and still, trending higher. It's a slower mover at this point. All right, so I've got rid of the Mag 7, the indexes, and some of the hardware software names. I did mention Netflix, so I might as well get to that because it reported a strong quarter, a 45% earnings growth, and it's the king of streaming, so it's kind of a stock unto itself. There's no other stock quite like it in its group, and it made this big move of 11% on Friday, then followed up today with the 1% move. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see it coming back and getting back below that gap number of 736.23. And then Intuitive Surgical, I consider this technology. I mean, it's medical technology, but this is cutting edge technology. And I was talking with a couple traders over the weekend and said the cruise line stocks and the leisure services and these elective surgeries are like the boomers spending their kids' inheritance money, and they're just traveling all over the world. They're doing whatever they want. They're going out dining, buying, and the boomers are still a big consumer block. And if they have, boomer retires with, I don't know, say, I don't know, 10 million in the bank in an IRA, they have the minimum distribution, requirement of 3%. So if they have 10 million, they got to take out 300 grand a year. So they got to blow that somehow. And so they're going to do surgeries or, travel around, spend the money and, not leave it all to the kids. They're going to, enjoy life a little bit. So to me, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And I'm seeing that with a lot of the cruise lines stocks and the restaurant stocks, they're just going out and spending, going to shows, traveling and doing whatever the hell they want. They earned it, right? I shouldn't say they because I'm a boomer too, but anyway, I'm going to move on because I'm going to get to the heart of the matter here, as Don Henley would sing. The gold, the silver, the copper, I post every morning, the commodities, and oil's been down, but man, gold, copper, and silver, they're making new highs like every day. They're up every day, every morning. I don't really follow them throughout the day, but I follow some of these stocks and they're hitting new highs. So there's nothing more bullish than hitting new highs here. This is GLD, but you can just go through about any one of these minor stocks. This is Ego, made a new high, then pulled back, ended up flat on the session. AU, I believe I put AU on my ready list today, but this is just the reason why I like this one. Let me explain myself a little bit. Is the RS line went through its moving averages here. It's building the right side of the base. It's straight up from the bottom, but it broke above the downtrend line, so it has momentum as it builds the right side of the base. And I would like to get in early. You see how it broke above that downtrend line last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. So, you could wait to 32.57, let it prove itself. But to me, I'd rather get in early. So I don't know, 29. That looks good to me, 29.50. Anyway, that's just explaining why it's not real hard to make money in the miners right now. They're just they're making new highs. Just about everyone I look at. This is PAAS. You can see the daily closing range here. It was trying to break out, then pull back. So maybe it'll give you a chance to get in there at 24.27. Yeah, the daily closing range was 11%. So if we look at this on a 5-minute chart, you're going to see this thing, yeah, gap higher, make a new high, then sell off into the close. So I mean, they're up so much, you got to expect some profit taking. This has gone from what, 1850 up to what, 20, nearly 26. So they've made big moves in a short period of time. So you're going to see some profit taking in that situation. Oh, okay. One of my favorite ones is SCCO. I didn't really see. Yeah, this one is pulling back and making this bull wedge pattern, but they report tomorrow. So any stock that you own, you better know when they report. 10/22 is tomorrow, and I think it's in the morning. But anyway, it's got this little flag pattern. So it made this big run up from 93 to 122, and now it's flagging here, making higher lows, pinching in. That's a very bullish sign, but you just got to wait for the earnings report. If you don't own it, don't go jumping in now and then get hammered after they report. They report a good number and they're going to get rewarded. The standard is 129. So yeah, Southern Copper looks pretty good to me. CCJ is another one of these that has been just straight up from the bottom. This one is just, yeah, 35 to what, 58. Thank you very much. That's a nice move. Just a lot of these GATO. This is a gold play. And since I used to live in, excuse me, silver play, since I used to live in Los Gatos, Gatos is cats, right? The cat silver. I've have a penchant for this one of all of the commodity stocks here. You can see the little shelf that it made, and now it broke out Friday, followed through today with a 4% move. So in the group here is a top 12 group. So GATO, Los Gatos, California, and Gatos Silver, just performing really nicely here. You can see that it's a later stage base, so it's had a big run here, base and then a base, and then a base, a double bottom here, another cup with handle. So, this thing might be, people are asking, anytime a stock goes up, people say it's overvalued or it's having a climax run. Well, it could be. I mean, it's getting near late stage base and big volumes coming in. But I'm not one to be the first guy to call the top or the bottom. So just let it play out. IDR, this is one of these Coeur d'Alene miners. Yeah, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, making new highs. This thing looks nice. Have we seen this pattern before where it just pulls back? It's consistently doing this, pulling back to the 21 right here, just these little wedge patterns, very pronounced here. Straight up from the bottom, what did it do? Pull back to the 10, found support. It just keeps doing this. This time it undercut the 21, but man, it bounced nicely. So they're finding levels of support and then they're bouncing, and that's what happens in a bull market. NEM is Newmont Mining, another one. This one's more global. US, Australia, Canada, Ghana, Peru, Suriname, just Dominican Republic. You can see this one had the stage 1 base and now has been ripping higher. So this one to me is a little more, that 5630 would be an area if it would pull back there. It's about where the 10 is right now. The 5630 today, the 10 was 5577. So yeah, maybe it'll pull back to that old 5630 and give you a chance. But man, the miners, like I said, they're just like shooting fish in a barrel here. I think I'm going to stop there. I think I went through enough of them. And I'm going to move on. Road reported this morning, these construction plays, they don't need a reason to go up, but this is a nice earnings report. You can see here the accelerated sales growth here at 23%, earnings growth 44%. I mean, anything over 2025 will take. I mean, it had triple digits, so road is killing it. It's not roadkill, it is killing it. At 76 was a buy area, and I can't buy before earnings, but big volume move after it reported earnings today. And you got to figure that with the infrastructure bill, that this is like the spending from the government is to be going on for 10 years. It's not just a 1 or 2 year thing. Building roads and bridges and just the infrastructure of the country. And now with the the hurricane damage, I mean, just a lot of money is going to be spent on repair and infrastructure in this country. All right. So when I see something like that and I missed it, I look for, some of the other stocks within the group, some pin action. And this is Granite, and this one's just been surfing its moving averages. So I'm telling you, it doesn't know you own it, right? So you say, why not just buy it? It's going higher, right? It's going higher, 81.38. You didn't buy it. Now it's 83.69. I guarantee you, if I bought this thing, it would pull right back to the 50, and then I'd be shaken out. It's happened to me too many times in my lifetime, so that's why I don't chase stuff. But true, the stock doesn't know you own it. So yeah, I mean, you could take a swing at a momentum stock like that that's just trading higher. Jacobs, another one of these heavy construction stocks. You can see the group is a top 10 group. Yeah, a lot of strong names in this area. This is a Quanta Services, another one. If you didn't buy it, when I had it on the ready list here, as it broke above its downtrend line, then it, the downtrending line here, and then, it had a standard buy point here. If you didn't catch those, just, pulls back to the 10 every now and again. You can get it. Like I said, if I bought this, it would pull right back to its 50. So that's why if I don't own it, I'm not going to chase these things because there's too many other things that are doing well. STRL, same thing here, broke out, pulling back and, finding the support at the moving averages, that bull wedge there, very pronounced in this one. So get them closer to the moving averages if you want to own them, I don't, it's probably not going to set up in a base here for a little bit. So anyway, those are super strong stocks. Knife River, this is the IPO, the concrete recent IPO, broke out of the base, pulled back to the 21. Where have we seen that before? Nice little bull wedge pattern. And there you can see the IPO base and the rip higher, man. That's institutional due diligence here. And then this is your advanced phase. And now you get this nice base here, cup shape pattern, and it wants higher prices. And once again, the infrastructure, and construction is just really strong right now in this country. I know some people don't want to admit it, but the economy is pretty strong, and the infrastructure bill with the government spending is helping this sector. TPC, I know we spend too much damn money, but at least we're buying, something that's going to be worthwhile. This is Tutor Perini. I got to be honest with you, I don't know what they do, but I know they're in this group, construction management. This is a California stock, I believe. Yeah, Silmar, California. Yeah, there's what's not to like here. Let me see. Yeah, it's just late stage base. Eh, yeah, okay, making new highs, up 12% today. I just noticed that it had, been on my up with volume list, so I didn't really have time to look into this. Could have been an earnings report or whatever, but I'll look into that more before tomorrow morning. That's a heck of a move, 12.5%. That's not to be ignored, Dan. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that group to similar group, and this is the electrical power equipment. This is the data center power play. This is Powell. Once again, like I say, if I bought this, it's just going straight up, right? So why not just buy it? Buy it here, buy it here, buy it here. I swear to you, if I bought this thing, it would do this. And then I'd be shaken out. And then as soon as I sold, it'd rip back up. That's why I don't chase these, but it is surfing its moving averages like Kelly Slater. Super strong stock. Another one, and this is the alternative energy group. GE Vernova just ripping higher. CEG Constellation. These things are kind of hit and miss. They're trading a little differently now. You saw Powell, but Constellation's kind of stalling here. This is Vistra. Kind of like this action here where it pulls back, to its 21, then trades up, now pulls back to its 10, and it's kind of pinching in here, making higher lows. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one pop here pretty soon. But just, a lot of these are just super strong. TLN, this one pulled back. If I could type in the ticker, I think it pulled back to its 50. Yeah, pull back to its 50. So, if you're holding this, see, this is what I'm talking about. If I bought this stock here, 197, woohoo, we're going to the moon, right? And then it pulls back to 150, and I'm like, I'm out of here. And then, then it ramps back up to 180. So that's why I don't chase. But definitely, these pullbacks are being supported either at the 10 or the 21 or the 50. So just each stock is different. That's what I'm saying with these energy names. You're starting to trade a little differently now. But gosh, they're all pretty darn strong. ORA, Ormat Technologies. This is an alternative energy play. Nice, breakout today of nearly 3% move. And you can see this is just, this is a stage one base. So it's a fairly recent IPO. It's been, less than 2 years. Starting to pop today. Anyway, that's enough of the construction and the energy, and I got to go to the drugs. As Huey Lewis would sing, I want a new drug. And that was not about drugs either. All right. This is a secondary offering. It ripped higher, made a new high up to I think 2350 something. And then it pulled back. Yeah, it hit 2340. And it says, oh, we're going to have a secondary offering. So it sold off for a couple of days, pulled back to the 10 and found support. That's all it did. All it did was come back to its 10 at 798. So this one's clearly getting support at its 10. So yeah, I think this is actually actionable here. You can see the pull on this stock here, and this is a weekly chart on CAPR, and then this, this little flag here, it's starting to really flag out. Maybe another week or so, but yeah, they had positive data for muscular. I forget now. Anyway, I'm more of a technical guy, but I don't know. No, I like fundamentals, but these biotechs, when you're buying these, you're buying the chart. You're not buying a stock like this. As I mentioned, ADMA, which was just doing so beautiful, right, for so long. And then there's a report that they're, accounting, their numbers might not be legit. So Wall Street just saying adios, muchachos. And that's what happens with these. So you got to be careful with them. There's another one that I don't know what's going on here. I don't claim to know. This thing is just moving all over the place. Just wanted to point this out. Bright minds and a lot of volume. Somebody's buying it. It's not a real liquid name. 2.4 million shares in the float. Just pointing it out. I stay away when stocks are hot like that. I stay away because I've been burned too many times, chasing stuff, and they can go down as fast as they go up. So just know that BIOA, another stock, got a lot of coverage today from like Citigroup and Jefferies and Morgan Stanley, and they initiated coverage with some pretty positive comments. It's got this IPO buy point like right here, about 24. The IPO price was what, at 18, you see there? Yeah, 24. And then it undercut that IPO price, which most of them do. And now it's just consolidating in a base. I'm watching this one. I'm going to put it on my watch list. Um, you know, these obesity, human aging, you don't think that's a popular sector. It is. So I'm watching this one. And it's going to be on my watch list. As I take some off, I put some on. That's all. And then TGTX, this is the multiple sclerosis drug. And this one, another pronounced, it undercut the 50, rallied back up. And now it pulls back to the 21, pops up, back to the 50, undercuts the 50 again, and then pulls back to the 50 and pops today 4.5%. So it's kind of teeter-tottering around that 50 there. It looks to me like when it comes to the 50, it's time to buy, and whenever it spikes, it's time to sell. See if we can get above that 26.41 though. I'm pretty sure they're going to report really strong earnings. Their drug is best in class, and I'm sure they're doing really well converting new patients and getting new ones as well. All right, I'm going to move on from the drug scene and go to my software names. All weekend, I charted, I looked around, I said, man, the software names is the place to be this week. And I looked at my Reddit list. I don't think I had one software name on there, but I'm going to go through some that I like their chart patterns that I didn't put on. I'm going to put them on either tomorrow or later this week, depending upon the earnings. But App 11, this one, leader in the software names. You didn't get it at 90, boo-hoo, you missed it. But it ran up, nice charge. And what did it do? It just made this little bull wedge pattern back to the 10. It got upgraded today and popped nearly 10%. So good for us who own App 11. That was a nice move. But I wanted to point out some of these software names that I like that I like to get them closer to their 10 EMA. You know that this is Palo Alto Networks forming this little shelf after it run from 328. Got this little shelf pattern. I still think this is actionable here. It only moved 1% today. And if we look at the weekly chart, you can see this long period of consolidation, 36 weeks. That's what, 3/4 of a year. This thing's been consolidating. They had a couple stinker earnings reports in there, but yeah, I kind of like the looks of that one. Couple other ones in the group. This is a cybersecurity group. This is Sentinel-1. Once again, you can see that pretty pronounced standard buy point at 26.62. I don't know why I didn't put this on the ready list. Just a brain fart. It was only up 1% though, so it's not too late. It's still trading around that buy point. And then Cloudflare, you got to look at the weekly on this one. Once again, though, we've seen this pattern so many damn times. I mean, it's yeah, pull back to the 10. It's going to find support there and bounce, or maybe it'll come back to the 21 and find support and bounce, or maybe it'll come back to the 50. It's going to bounce somewhere. You want to buy the bounce, so I want to buy the bounce. I don't want to buy this pullback until they start bouncing. And here you can see that broke out of that stage 1 base, and that's that high there that you see on the daily chart. Yeah, 116. Now it's just consolidating in this like stage 2 base. but I kind of like it because I like that wedge pattern. So anyway, that's another one that I like. I like Z-scaler as well. That one's shaping up nicely. It's below the 200, which I don't like, but I like these wedge patterns here. They've been paying off. This thing's wedging back to the 10. We'll pretend that that black line's not there because if you look at the short-term moving averages, the the RS line went through the moving averages. Okay, yeah, pull back. But you can see straight up from the bottom, 165, rallied through all the moving averages above 200, now pulled back. The 10, the 21, and the 50 here are all curling up higher. So definitely watching this one. Well, where should I buy it, Marty? Well, I would say if it's above 200, it looks like it's going to have trouble with 200. Make sure it proves itself above 202.64. That's what I'm going to do. You could do whatever you like, but that's what I'm going to do. CrowdStrike, definitely cup with handle pattern here, and I think I pointed this out in my weekly review last week. It's got this 336.34 gap to fill here. That's a $20 gap from the high on the subsequent day. So this has got a cup with a handle with a standard buy point at 323. So yeah, this thing moves fast too. So anyway, there's a lot of software names that I like. QTWO, we had this on the ready list, and this one's just starting to a couple weeks ago, not yesterday or today, and it's starting to surf its moving averages. Kind of a slower trader, but I like the steady Eddie incline there. Looks pretty darn good to me. Any other of these software names? CrowdStrike, Net, Zscaler. Oh, ALKT. Now this is a financial one, but this one we had on our ready list 2 weeks ago or last week. It traded above this downtrending line here, went flat, and you can see how allowed the moving averages to catch up here and then popped the last 3 days. So that one looks good. Wow, it was up 5% today. That's nice. And last week it had a nice move too. We had on a ready list, and I think it popped, yeah, 7.5%. So not bad. And then I got to point out, well, okay, GoDaddy. I like GoDaddy. GoDaddy needs time though. I mean, people think they're going to buy it and it's just going to go straight up. This one needs time because it's still consolidating in a base, and it's only been 7 weeks. So, and it had this massive run. I mean, if you look at, something like Abercrombie and Fitch or Elf, they had these big runs, right? They consolidate. So, this is a stage one base. Um, According to Market Surge, definitely got this earnings line heading north. But like you can see there, it's only 7 weeks. So give this one some time, be patient. I put it on last week or the week before, whenever it broke above that downtrend line right here. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. And then it's been performing well. It's been behaving exactly as you would expect. Yeah, right there around 160. And what is it, 163, call it 164, and just the moving averages are trending higher, forming a base, consolidating. I like this one right here, right now, but it's going to require time. Just it doesn't know you bought it, and you can't expect it to go up 10%, just because you just bought it. So anyway, be patient with that one. Oh, I know what I want to show you. ZETA downgraded on Friday and really spit the bit here Friday, and then followed through to the downside today. So that's adios muchachos right there. I don't know what's going on with this name. I don't need to know. All I need to know is that it's licensed 50 with volume. So institutions are selling this thing. Take a look at the 5 minute. Gap lower, selling all day. Gap lower, selling all day. A little high volume closer, so maybe it'll perk up above the 50 tomorrow, but I do not like that action right there at all. Too much profit taking. We want it supported like this one. That's your software name. All right. Anyway, move on, Marty. I did mention the boomer trade, and I swear the leisure travel booking. This is EXPE. There's rumors that Uber is going to buy it, but I believe the boomers are spending their children's inheritance, and they're the big part of the consumer group right now. Steadying our retail or just our economy. They have a lot of money and they're spending it. Anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. EXPE looks good. This is a Royal Caribbean group. Obviously, had a big run, pulled back. How about let's make a little bet here, folks, that this thing pulls back to its 10 and finds support like that. Maybe another day or two of pullback. Look at this volume, just whisper quiet volume. That's profit taking. Let it get back to the 10. The 10 today was at 195.81 yesterday or Friday it was 194. It's going up about $1 a day. So tomorrow it'll be about 199. We'll call it 200. And then so yeah, another day or two, and I bet you that thing pops off its 10. It'll find support. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And they all kind of look the same. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, yeah, same thing, just a little bull wedge pattern on light volume back to its moving average. Now, Viking reports Wednesday morning, I believe, and it's already pulled back to its 10. So you got to be cautious ahead of earnings. I think they're going to be good, but you never know. Anything can happen. And the stock can respond in any which way. You don't know. My last group that I want to get to is the crypto names. This is MicroStrategy. I had it on our ready list last week at 200. I still think this is actionable, even though it's made this big move on big volume, straight off the lows, bouncing off this 40-week line here. See what that looks like on the daily. Yeah, pullback almost, yeah, right to its 200 daily moving average here. Wow. What a move. 113 up to what, 227. Yeah, I like the pullback to the 10. We've seen this before. The last couple times it pulled back to the 10 right here, got support bounce up back to the 10, spiked back to the 10, spiked, so as long as it keeps doing that, the 10 is higher and it keeps finding support there, you're good. Another one of these crypto names that I like is Robinhood. Just not quite as wild as MicroStrategy, but still finding support at the 10. That one's good. And also Coin's a good stock. Looks like it's consolidating as stage one base, kind of lagging the others that I just showed you. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that is earnings tonight. And I didn't look at the earnings at all. I was busy this afternoon in SAP. This is an ADR, and it's up, looks like 4% software. So that is not going to hurt software. This is a 270 billion market cap stock. Yeah, it's not a small stock. Could help. The names in this group you see here: Monday, IoT, Palantir. Yeah, it's a big name in the group. I've got to read the report and see what they had to say, but a 4% move after hours is welcome for sure. Logitech, this is kind of a computer hardware name, up slightly. I've got to read about this. This is it's in the same group with SMCI and IONQ. Dell, there you see an HPQ. So we'll see what transpires tomorrow with that group. Nucor, this is a steel producer stock. You can say they've been selling off. I don't know why. They don't need a reason why. They just institutions have been selling. So it's kind of forming this stage one base here. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. Yeah, it's down 2% after hours. And this is in the same group with like Cleveland Cliffs, you know, and then the U.S. Steel, which was going to be bought by the company from Japan, and then that fell through. Dr. No doing her thing. So we'll see what happens there. A lot of people are, don't want the Japanese company to be buying U.S. steel. And then ZION is up, nearly 5%. The banks have been reporting stellar earnings. So that's probably going to continue. I'm looking for strong earnings from financials and tech stocks. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This one looks fantastic. I bank with these guys, but I never bought their stock. Yeah, okay. This line should look like that, Marty. Yeah, not bad. Anyway, pull back to its 10. Looks like it's going to pop tomorrow. This is not big enough. It's 7 billion market cap to move the entire financials, but it's not going to hurt the local, Southwest region banks, which you can see down here, some of the stronger ones, BSV and CPF, and so forth. Anyway, that's it for me for good this time. Thank you for watching. We do have some reports in the morning. Yeah, General Motors reports tomorrow. Man, there's some big ones tomorrow, folks. These will move the market. Verizon, it's kind of a big telecom name, and then we have some three defense names reporting in the morning. Raytheon, I'll have this information in the morning. General Electric, I expect them to be pretty good. And LMT, Lockheed Martin. Yes, we got 3M reporting tomorrow. And Sherwin-Williams, which I think should have a good forward guidance just with everything going on with infrastructure and it's a well-run company. Anyway, finally, this is really the last time. This is it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.